it took a while. It took about 4 years, man, from when I asked that question, to God when I was talking. And, every morning, bro, I woke up with this energy. I woke up with energy. I woke up always believing that I will be in the NFL again. I always woke up training, running hard. I say I'm gonna get this 40 down. And also being around my family. I had some family support, man, and that right there was all I needed. That was all I needed. Faith and belief in God and the positive signs and the energy and my family, man. That what kept me going. So, that was pretty much it.
And when I talk to everybody, I talk a lot of times about having hope. Without hope, we don't have a whole lot. And gentlemen, that's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about having hope, Delvin Breaux is just a living example of that. And that's so great to hear that, Delvin.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. And Delvin, before we let you go, we have one of our listeners. He's been listening to the program. His name is John Capro. He has a question for you. He said, what is Delvin's favorite place to eat in New Orleans? He wants to know.
My favorite? I like walk-ons. I would say walk-ons, man. Walk-ons is probably by far one of my best places I like to eat. Besides I work there, but walk-ons on Porter.
On Porter's. Okay. Awesome. Well, Delvin and the crew from Saints News Radio, we want you to know that we love you. We always will be behind you. And more than that, we're praying for your abundant success. We're praying for your family as well. I know you've been through a lot of great things. You have a great story. We will always welcome you back to the show as long as you would like to come back to the show. And we hope you will be returning again. Guys, thank you for everything. Guys, welcome Delvin to the Saints News Radio family. And Delvin, have a great time, and we wish you back on the field so you can be as productive as always. But more than that, we want you to be that shutdown cornerback we know you are. Okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.
All right, Delvin. Thank you so much.
All
right. That was Delvin Breaux from the New Orleans Saints with us here at the Saints News Radio Network. Guys, how do y'all feel about that?
Man, I want to know how you pulled that off, Kyle. Man, shoot, you a bad boy, bro.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you this much, guys.
That's what Ron Eagles do, Remy.
Yeah, Delvin.
Ron Eagles stick together, brother.
Delvin responded immediately after I told him we are Ron Eagles and we need to have you on the show. I kid you not. Kid you not. And we really do appreciate him being on the show with us.
Well, maybe I'll try that with Leonard Fournette, see if that'll work.
Try it, man. Let's have him.
Yeah, Remy.
Let's have him, man. Purple Knights, they can do some things sometimes.
Sometimes. It's for you, bro.
Okay, guys. Let's talk a little bit Saints football. Man, that was great I can end the show right now. That was just a great time to have
humble
Delvin
young
on.
man, just so humble. I think that's what stuck out with me when Remy said that just an humble man and so articulate. Just that's the side of football I like to see in young players that are being blessed and that are well grounded.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, guys, the Saints had some transactions this week. P.J. Williams has been placed on IR after suffering an injury to his head and neck. I also read that some fear that he had some internal bleeding going on. I don't know how true that is, but we're praying for his healthy recovery. And so that opened up a spot on the Saints roster. The Saints re-signed veteran offensive tackle Tony Hills in response to the injury to P.J. Williams. Zach Strief has been suffering with a chest injury from Sunday's game against the Giants, so hopefully Hills can be able to help to step in and bring some relief to that offensive line when Zach Strief gets healthy again as well. So right now, the Saints are down to 4 cornerbacks, Coach, Professor, BB, and Remy. 4 cornerbacks active on the roster with Sterling Moore, Crawley, Devontae Harris, and B.W. Webb. What do we do from here, guys, with 4 cornerbacks?
Oh, my God.
That's number one. That's not enough, obviously, and that is a dire situation, and
It is.
And that's become the premier position in the National Football League. We know it's a quarterback-driven league. We've heard that over and over again. How that certainly is. But guess what? It's becoming a cornerback-driven league.
Right.
If you don't have corners, you cannot compete in the NFL.
Nope.
And you're looking at 4. You need at least 5 because you need 10 defensive backs at least. You need at least 5. And right now, out of the Saints' 4, you've got 2 street free agents and you've got 2 undrafted free agents. That is really difficult. There's a reason those guys were available, and they're playing so hard. And Delvin, he talked a little bit about how things have changed under Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen was a defensive backs coach. That's his strong suit, and so he's got them playing as good as they can. And they played hard and did a lot of really good things. The defense looked pretty darn solid against the Giants, but they still gave up more than 350 yards passing. Maybe the quietest 350-yard plus game that you've ever seen in the NFL. I mean, it was remarkable. He had 368 yards, as a matter of fact. So from a talent perspective, no matter how hard they play, they're at a big disadvantage in a league now. And when you look at the championship teams over the last several years, not only do they have their established quarterback, but they have established cornerbacks and cornerbacks that can really play and are at the top of their game. Even the New England Patriots, they had those 2 outstanding quarterbacks, including Browner, when they won a Super Bowl, but they also knew it was pretty close to the end of the line for those 2. They got their year out of them, shipped them off, gave their younger players an extra year to develop so that now they're playing at a very high level.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I know this is somewhat discouraging, but I'll pick y'all up later.
It's the truth, though. It's very tough. Right? I didn't know PJ had guys going on into reserve. I know it was rough, but I hadn't checked the latest news. I didn't know that, and so this is very frightening. I guess my question is that Kyle, Remy, and BB, why didn't the Saints tell Delvin come back, bring back Cortland Finnegan or someone else to add to that, back that cornerback?
Well, the problem was the Strief injury. So they had to be able to account for that. Now, Von Bell did help out in the secondary, and I think he may be that emergency 5th cornerback for the Saints.
How long is Strief going to be out?
We don't know if he's out officially, but it looks like he may be out if they're going to bring back Tony Hills, right, Coach?
That's correct.
Yeah, so
we don't know how long. We don't know
just
how
don't
long
know how
he's
long.
gonna be out.
No, we don't know.
Oh, wow.
No,
the injuries have really hit this team this year early. But the injury bug, it's just very difficult for you to survive. P.J. Williams, Delvin, Rankins, Ellerby, Kikaha, Damian Swine, Hal Wilson. I mean, that is just for a team to lose that many key players on their defense, those contributors. I was just very proud of what they did in New York. I was just very proud because that takes a lot of guts and fight when you have been depleted like the Saints have been hit with injuries.
Yeah, well, not only that, guys. Aaron Glenn, their defensive backs coach, you saw him on the sidelines with those guys. He did a good job coaching the young guys up. I know it could be argued that Crowley, for the second week in a row, was taken advantage of because of his youth, but he had an excellent position on the ball. I think Cruz just made a veteran play, I would say that, more than Crowley didn't make a good play. It could be debated. He could have just batted the ball down as well. But these things we know in a losing effort are a part of the game. Did you guys have any other takeaways from the Giants game that you would like to discuss?
Special teams. I said it on Professor Speaks that Lutz would play a factor in this game, although it was not his fault. But it also came out today, also something, Kyle, that you've been stating, that his trajectory on his kicks are low. And even though Tyron Armstead and Pete was involved in the wingman and all of that blow-up would happen on that play, also I think the special teams of the New Orleans Saints are continuing to be plagued. It's just that area of the game, it's time for a new special teams coach.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
It's just a factor too much, and I'm just very frustrated with the Saints special teams year in and year out being so just inadequate. With the exception of Thomas Morstead, our special teams is just year in year, especially in the field goal kicking game. Every week, the Saints are having a special teams played against them, missed field goal, blocked field goal, missed 2 points, whatever, that at the end of the game plays a significant factor in the point differential where you're losing. You've got to win in all three areas. And I'll get to the offense and that ineptness that showed up out there a little later.
Okay. Coach, you did a breakdown of the blocked field goal. Can you just tell the listeners a little bit about what you did in your analysis that was on sportsnola.com?
And it's still there. I had a chance to talk to the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation Quarterback Club yesterday, and instead of just talking to them, I went to the video like we do in the coaching profession and have a step-by-step analysis, and that's it. That video is at sportsnola.com, and it certainly does show the breakdowns in the protection, but still, if Will Lutz gets the ball up like he is capable of doing, then the ball is going to be high enough. There's absolutely no question about that. He hit the ground behind the ball with his kicking foot, and it bounced it up more to the middle of the ball. And he takes 3 steps. It sometimes gets too far ahead of it and really drives the ball and has great distance, as we've seen on his kickoffs. But that's part of the learning experience when you go for a rookie kicker, especially one that is gone from Georgia Southern to the highest level. That is part of the transition, that you've got to be able to get the ball up in the air more quickly than he certainly has. So that breakdown is still at sportsnola.com. But the professor is exactly right. When you're struggling from a depth perception personnel-wise, perspective personnel-wise, you've got to win in the kicking game. You can't get ties. You can't just be in the middle of the pack. You've got to have exceptional kicking games, and you certainly can't have a big fail like the Saints had in turning 3 points for them into 7 points for the opposition. The kick return game is not very good. The punting game, when the best player on the team, right along with Drew Brees, is Thomas Morstead.
Yeah.
What a great player!
Outstanding.
He is. I mean, he's pooching the ball from midfield. I mean, he's kicking the ball 46 yards from the line of scrimmage in the air, and he's got the nose down on the ball with a reverse spin on it to try to keep it from bouncing in the end zone. I mean, most people who kick it 46 yards in the air from the line of scrimmage have got to have everything going for them. Perfect technique and spiral and all that. it's remarkable. And to watch him, since he's the holder on the field goal team, try to run down the returner in the other direction. I mean, his effort and his will to win was just